because there's too many choices and we're not willing to make the sacrifice it requires to live a meaningful life, because the meaning comes from the sacrifice itself and we don't realize that. Life is made up of your decisions, not your fantasies. The point isn't that you have everything. The point is you have something meaningful. This video is not meant to be pessimistic, but I do feel like this video contains things that people might not want to hear, but I do believe those things are really important to hear. And once you're able to truly accept these things, your life will be so much better, guaranteed. So much more peace. Basically, for a majority of the summer, I was feeling stressed and overwhelmed, and I would say like literally for no reason. Summer break, it gives you this huge chunk of time. For me, it was ridiculous. Genuinely, 4 months of time is crazy, okay? And that enables a sort of fantasizing, a sort of hardcore planning. So many expectations just heaped onto this 4 months of time because you want to make the most of it, okay? And I was essentially overwhelmed by all the possible futures. Like, I was not even stressed about the present moment. Like, because let's be honest here, a lot of us, we're not stressed in the present, okay? Because it's not like a bear right now is trying to eat me, but I was stressed by the possibilities of all my goals and dreams, like my infinite goals and my infinite dreams that I will not be able to achieve in this lifetime, my incapacity, honestly, to do them to the fullest extent that I would like. And that honestly led to a lot of inaction and to me procrastinating on the things that I actually wanted to do, the things that were genuinely meaningful to me. And it was not even as if I didn't have time for them. Genuinely, I would have 2 hours of time that I could use to script a video, but I just wouldn't do it. Like, I would just procrastinate on it, and I would just rather go on social media or do something else than start this thing, because that meant that that thing would have to leave the fantasy of it in my head. And this is the thing that I struggle with a lot, and I know that a lot of people struggle with this as well, is the idea of all these possible futures in our heads, right? And you make your future out to be something that's just glamorous, because it's not reality yet. You can make it into whatever you want. And that's what's so appealing about just thinking about all your goals and dreams, you know, thinking I could be an astronaut, I could be an actress, I could be this, I could be that. Because the moment that you take the action to make that dream into reality, you will realize its limitation. It's never going to be as perfect as you want it to be. And that fear of this dream not living up to what you had in your head, this fear of suddenly there being all these flaws, suddenly being faced with the fact that there are always limitations. You don't want your dreams to be reality. There's always countless options for the future. And once you choose, it feels like all those options are gone. It feels like you're not free anymore. But the reality is you're just feeding into this delusion. You're just in this limbo state because you want to hold on to this false sense of freedom by holding on to these possibilities of the future, by not taking action into a singular path. Instead, what you're doing is you're doing nothing. And sometimes we do not like to take action because it feels like, oh shit, if I go down this path, I'm missing out on all this stuff. If I go here, I'm missing out on all this stuff. What I'm telling you is that part of life is letting go, okay? You need to let go of all these other options. Why? Because all you're doing right now is half-assing everything. You're half-assing your life. You're not focusing on anything because you want to retain the sense of freedom. You want to hold on to all these possibilities. But what is valuable, what is meaningful about your life is that you get to make these choices. You get to make these decisions. These decisions culminated is your life. Like, just imagine if you were able to do anything you wanted. Imagine if you just had like all the time in the world, you could do whatever you wanted, you could achieve all of your dreams, then none of them would have any meaning, because it's like, okay, being an astronaut, being a yoga teacher, being whatever, I could do any of those. All of them are equally meaningless. A lot of choices, they have meaning because they required sacrifice. Everything requires sacrifice, okay? You cannot have it all. And I feel like people hate to hear this because there's always this thing, it's like, you can live your best life, you can have everything, blah, blah, blah. But that's not the point. Okay, like the point isn't that you have everything. The point is you have something meaningful. And you have something meaningful by making a certain choice that requires sacrifice of other things. For you to choose this certain path means that you had to negate all other paths. But that doesn't mean that, oh shit, like I lost this opportunity to do this, I lost this opportunity to do that. No, it's more like, okay, I chose to lose this opportunity so I could gain this opportunity, which makes this opportunity infinitely more valuable because of the sacrifice I made for it. If I could do anything I wanted, if I could have this and this and this and this and this, none of it would mean anything to me because I didn't have to lose anything. The point of life isn't just to have every single thing that you want. And that's like the thing with social media, with dating apps these days. They give you countless options. They give you this false sense of freedom where you can have everything. It introduces you to an infinite number of lifestyles. You know, let's be a cottagecore person, then let's live in a big city. You can scroll for infinity and infinity and infinity, and it just feeds and feeds and feeds into this future idea of what your life can be like that just stays perfect and beautiful in your head. And you spend your whole day on social media scrolling, thinking about this beautiful future in your head because you're getting ideas from this and this and this, like, oh hey, what if I had a garden, what if I had like a lime tree here or whatever there. Suddenly you have all these ideas in your head and you don't act on any one of them, because to act on one would be to forego all of the others. That just leads to you scrolling again, looking at more stuff and more stuff and more stuff, because as long as you're in the safe online realm, you don't have to face the reality where you need to choose. But we have to realize that things are valuable because we make them valuable. Things are good because we make them good. And we're never gonna get anywhere by half-assing everything because we want everything, because we're not willing to let go of certain things and focus on others. And that is honestly a virtue of life, being able to make hard decisions. Life is made up of your decisions, not your fantasies. And I'm not saying that you can't be great, you can't be this, you can't be that. You could honestly become the best writer ever, but you need to be able to focus on that. You can't be scrolling on social media thinking that you can do 10,000 things at once and not committing to any single one. By committing to something, you are putting value into that thing. And that's why I also just cannot with situationships, stuff like that. You will never see me in a situationship. It is the most half-assing of half-assing I have ever come across. The idea that you would spend copious amounts of time with somebody without committing to them. There's no meaning to the relationship because you're keeping your options open. The whole point of a relationship is a commitment to another person. That person is your significant other. If they are just an other, then there's nothing. There's nothing there. If they are the same as 8 other girls, there is nothing special about them. And it's not the person's fault, right? It's not like, oh, they're just not special enough, whatever. No, it's because you didn't make them special to you. You can live a very meaningful, a very impactful life, but you cannot have everything. And you cannot spend your days in a limbo state procrastinating on the very things that you want to do because you do not want to face the fact that when dreams meet reality, there will always be sacrifices. Stop being indecisive, scrolling, trying to find the perfect life to live. Yeah, you're wasting your current life. That's the only life you have. Okay, you're wasting it for an imaginary perfect fantasy life in your head that's never ever going to come true. And one day you're going to be 80 years old and you're going to be on your deathbed and you're going to realize that you spent all your time on this fake thing rather than coming face to face with what reality actually is. And reality can have a lot of impossible things. I'm not saying to not dream big or whatever, but it's this horrible limbo state that a lot of us are in because there's too many choices and we're not willing to make the sacrifice it requires to live a meaningful life, because the meaning comes from the sacrifice itself and we don't realize that. We think the meaning comes from the option being the best possible option, but that's not the case. There is no best possible option. The option is good because you make it good. But that's all I had to say for this video. Thanks for listening. I will see you guys sometime soon.